What if I told you that some of the most powerful companies in the world, companies worth billions, were built on nothing but lies? Not small lies, massive, catastrophic, world-changing lies. Lies that destroyed the savings of millions of ordinary people. Lies that sent powerful executives to prison. Lies so big that when they collapsed, they took entire economies down with them. Today, we are going to break down the biggest corporate scandals in history. No complicated financial language, no confusing jargon, just the raw truth, explained so simply that even a 5-year-old could understand it. Because these stories are not just about money, they are about greed, power, and what happens when people in suits decide the rules do not apply to them. Let us dissect. Story number 1. Enron. Imagine a lemonade stand that everyone in the neighborhood loves. Every parent talks about it. Every child buys from it. Everyone believes it is the best lemonade stand in town. But one day people realized the lemonade was never actually that good. The success of the stand was based on people believing in it, not on the lemonade itself. When that belief disappeared, the stand closed. Enron was one of America's largest energy companies in the late 1990s. Everyone believed in it. Investors put money into it. Employees dedicated their careers to it. The business world admired it. But the belief was stronger than the reality. When the gap between belief and reality became too large to hide, the company could no longer continue operating. Thousands of employees had to find new jobs almost overnight. Many families who had invested their savings into the company found those savings had disappeared. It was one of the most dramatic business collapses in American history. And it taught the entire business world one of its most important lessons. A company must be built on real value, not just on the perception of value. The moment reality and perception separate too far, no business can survive that gap. That is the Enron lesson. Build something real, because perception without substance never lasts. Scandal number 2. Theranos. Imagine a classmate tells everyone she has invented a machine that can do 1,000 math problems in 1 second, using just a single drop of ink. Every teacher believes her. Every student is amazed. She becomes the most famous student in school, but she never actually built the machine. She just told everyone she did. That is Theranos. Elizabeth Holmes founded Theranos in 2003 when she was just 19 years old. Her idea sounded revolutionary. A small device that could run hundreds of medical tests using just a single drop of blood from a finger prick. No needles, no laboratories, no waiting days for results. Just one tiny drop of blood, and within minutes, you would know everything about your health. Investors were amazed. Rupert Murdoch invested. The Walton family invested. Former government officials and military generals joined the board. At its peak, Theranos was valued at $9 billion. Elizabeth Holmes appeared on the cover of every major magazine. She was called the next Steve Jobs. There was just one catastrophic problem. The technology never worked. Theranos was secretly running its blood tests on conventional machines made by other companies, while telling everyone their revolutionary device was doing the work. The results were wildly inaccurate. Patients were being told they had serious diseases they did not have. Others, with real conditions, were being told they were healthy. Real people made real medical decisions based on completely false results. When journalist John Curran exposed the fraud in the Wall Street Journal in 2015, the company collapsed almost immediately. Elizabeth Holmes was convicted of fraud in 2022 and sentenced to over 11 years in prison. The lesson from Theranos: a confident personality and a great story are not the same as a real product. Always demand proof, not just promises. Story number 3. Volkswagen. Imagine a student in your class who scores perfectly on every single test. Every teacher is impressed. Every parent talks about how brilliant this student is. But then one day someone discovers the truth. Every time a test was approaching, this student was secretly given all the answers beforehand. The moment no test was happening, the student performed completely differently. That is exactly what happened with Volkswagen. But instead of school tests, it was environmental tests on their cars. Volkswagen is one of the most well-known car manufacturers in the world. For decades, it built a reputation around quality, reliability, and trust. In the early 2000s, the company began promoting its diesel-powered cars as clean and environmentally responsible vehicles. They told customers and regulators that their cars produced very low levels of harmful emissions. Environmental regulators conducted tests on the vehicles. The results looked perfect every single time. But here is what was actually happening behind the scenes. Volkswagen had quietly installed special software inside millions of their cars. This software was designed to recognize when the car was being officially tested for emissions. The moment the car detected it was being tested, the software would automatically adjust the engine to perform in a cleaner and more efficient way. The moment the test was finished and the car was back on a normal road, the engine would return to its standard operation, which produced significantly higher emissions than what the tests were showing. In simple terms, the cars were performing one way during tests and a completely different way in real life. When this was discovered, it became one of the largest corporate stories in modern history. The company was required to address the situation across millions of vehicles worldwide. The financial and reputational consequences were enormous. Billions of dollars were spent addressing the fallout. The lesson from Volkswagen: shortcuts and deception may work temporarily, but when trust is broken at that scale, the consequences are always far greater than whatever was gained. Story number 4. Bernie Madoff. Imagine your neighbor tells you he has discovered the most reliable apple tree in the world. Every single season without fail, that tree produces perfect apples. Rain or shine, hot or cold, good year or bad year, every season, perfect apples. You invest in his tree, your friends invest, your family invests. Year after year, he hands everyone their apples. No one questions it, because the apples keep coming. But one day, when too many people ask for their apples at the same time, you discover something devastating. There was never a tree. He was simply taking apples from new investors and handing them to old ones. The moment new people stopped joining, there were no more apples for anyone. That is Bernie Madoff. And that type of scheme even has a name. It is called a Ponzi scheme, named after a con artist from the early 20th century, named Charles Ponzi, who used the exact same trick. Bernie Madoff was not some unknown criminal operating in the shadows. He was one of the most respected figures on Wall Street. He had been chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. He ran an investment firm that had been operating for decades. Wealthy individuals trusted him with their savings. Charities trusted him with their endowments. Banks and hedge funds around the world trusted him with their clients' money. And for years, he delivered consistent returns, reliable profits, no drama. No one questioned it because there was nothing to question until 2008, when the global financial crisis hit. A large number of Madoff's clients needed their money back at the same time. He could not pay them because the money was not there. Madoff confessed to his sons. His sons called the authorities. The total amount of money that had vanished was approximately $65 billion. 65 billion, thousands of individuals, hundreds of charities, dozens of banks across multiple countries, all destroyed. Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison. He died behind bars in 2021. The lesson from Bernie Madoff: consistency is not the same as legitimacy. If something produces perfect returns in every condition, in good markets and bad markets, that is not skill. That is a warning sign. Real investments carry real risk. Anyone who tells you otherwise is hiding something. And that brings us to the end. 5 stories, 5 empires, 5 collapses. Enron, Theranos, Volkswagen, Madoff, and everything in between. Different industries, different countries, different decades, but every single one followed the same pattern. Someone had a story that was bigger than the truth. Someone in a position of power decided the rules did not apply to them. And someone, always ordinary people with ordinary savings, paid the price. Here is the uncomfortable truth. These were not complicated schemes that required a genius to uncover. At their core, every single one of these scandals was simple lies, told confidently to people who wanted to believe. Because that is the real weapon behind every scandal on this list. Not intelligence, not complexity, just the human desire to believe in something extraordinary. Investors wanted to believe they had found the next great company. Customers wanted to believe the product was as good as they returned. Employees wanted to believe they were part of something meaningful. And the people at the top exploited that desire completely. So the next time someone presents you with a story that sounds too perfect, ask the uncomfortable questions. How does the money actually work? Where is the proof? Who is checking? You do not need to be a financial expert to protect yourself. You just need to be willing to ask what others are too excited to ask. That is what we do here at Empire Dissected. We slow down. We look closely. We ask the questions that matter. If this video gave you a clear picture of how the world of money and power actually operates, share it with someone who needs to see it. And if there is a corporate scandal, a business empire,